Hello, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to the fifth session in the Professional Development Mentorship Program, the Scholarship and Postgraduate Opportunity Track. Today, we have a mentor and a senior colleague in the profession, Mr. Phil Singh. Is a research sonographer, a healthcare leader, and the founder of the Med Imaging Solution with a strong background in medical imaging, ultrasound practice, research, and healthcare management. He holds an MSc in medical imaging with management and an MBA in hospital administration. He's passionate about advancing evidence-based medical imaging practice, strengthening clinical leadership, and improving patient-centered diagnostic services. As a Chevening alumnus, he values global learning and professional excellence. His work and research interests focuses on radiography, sonography leadership, service development, professional growth, and building sustainable imaging solutions that support both clinicians and patients. He is particularly committed in mentoring healthcare professionals, promoting research engagement, and contributing to stronger leadership and management capacity within the medical imaging services. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our speaker for today's session, Mr. Singh. Capiria. I don't know whether I pronounced that correctly. Mr. Singh,
Uh,
so you have the floor.
thank you so much, and thank you for inviting me to speak with everyone. It's such an opportunity. Yeah, so my name is Fuson Kapiria, and I'm a medical imaging specialist. Is it okay if I may share my screen?
Yes, it's okay, sir. Perfectly okay.
Mm, okay. Can you see my screen? Hello, can you see my screen?
I can see your screen, sir.
Yes, we
Uh,
can.
you can see my screen. Okay, am I audible enough?
Yes, you are.
Okay, thank you very much. So today, basically, I'm just going to introduce my journey, a Chevening journey, and I'm going to go through the Chevening experience with everyone, what it takes to get the Chevening scholarship, and how you can get the Chevening scholarship, what are the requirements, what you need to do. So this is going to be a short presentation, and once I'm done, I'm going to give everyone to ask questions. I've applied for other scholarship, but today I'm mainly going to concentrate on the Chevening scholarship as a scholarship that I managed to get, and currently I'm an alumnus. So my name is Frison Kapiria, and I hold MSc in medical imaging management from the United Kingdom, an MBA and a BSc in diagnostic radiography, and a PhD in ultrasound. And currently, I work in the United Kingdom as a ultrasound specialist in obstetrics. Okay, so what is Chevening? So today we are just going to have an overview of what is Chevening. So Chevening is a fully funded UK master's degrees. So they only fund the master's degrees. And what is included is a tuition, flights, and a stipend. So a stipend is what the UK government basically give you while you are doing while you're in school. And also, this is a scholarship that is mainly centered on leadership. It's a leadership program. So that's what makes Chevening different from other scholarship. Other scholarship are all about academic excellence, or about agriculture and as well as climate issues. But Chevening mostly is a leadership program. It kind of looks for future leaders, present leaders and for future leaders. That's what Chevening is about. So when people say Chevening is competitive, it's quite very competitive and it doesn't come quite easy. So these are just a few statistics which I have here. So in the year between 2025 and 2026, there were over 100,000 applicants and only about 1,500 applicants were given the scholarship. And that is just about 1.5 to 2% of acceptance rate. Around 2000 to 2005, again, there were about over 1,000 applicants. Again, only 1 to 2% were accepted. And in between 2000 and 2003, there were over 60,000 applicants, and also the acceptance rate was just around 2 to 2.5. So you can see that it's quite competitive. It's not an easy scholarship. For example, the country where I come from, we had about 2,000 applicants, and they only shortlisted about 70 applicants, and only 10 applicants were given the scholarship. So it's quite competitive. So this is my Chevening journey. So as I mentioned, others who have attempted have gotten the scholarship on their first try, but it's not always the same. And I'm trying to share this journey with you to tell you guys that you won't always get it at first attempt, and it's something that requires patience, refining your essays and refining your capability as you are progressing. So my first attempt, I actually got rejected. So what happened when I looked at my application, I applied without proper guidance. I just heard about it and I the website and I did my application. I didn't do my research. So what was the key lesson? I lacked mentorship. On my second attempt, I kind of got on a reserve list. That means I was my essays were accepted. I went for the interviews. I did well, and I was on the reserve list. What happened? I improved, but not selected. So what was the key lesson? I lacked clarity in my story. So during the interviews, I wasn't as good as other applicants. So I lacked some kind of clarity. On my third attempt, I was rejected at initial stage. This time I didn't even get into the interview stage. What happened? I tried to fit a perfect image. I wasn't myself. I tried to copy other people. And Chevening will always pick up when you are not yourself and your story does not fit and your story is made up. So what was the key lesson? I wasn't authentic. I copied others. So that led to rejection. In my fourth attempt, I was awarded the scholarship. So what happened this time? Presented my true self with real examples. So I was authentic this time around. I just went there and presented my story, my real story. I didn't want to fit. I didn't want to sound like Barack Obama. I didn't want to sound like Nelson Mandela. I just sounded like Fuson, because there can only be one Fuson in this world. And that's how I presented myself. What was the key lesson? Be original, real, and be intentional. So what is Chevening looking for? So Chevening is not looking for perfect people. And in most cases, people think to get a scholarship, you have to kind of tick everything. But it's not like that. Chevening is not looking for perfect people. Chevening is not looking for people with great experience, with big CVs. Chevening is looking for simple people, people who are real. So what Chevening is looking for is drive and ambition. You will have the motivation to succeed, willingness to grow and improve, evidence of persistence. During the interviews, I kind of demonstrated my fears. And during the interview, I was talking to real people who are able to relate with me, present myself as a perfect person. Also, Chevening is looking for authenticity, being genuine and self-aware, clear personal story, and not copying others. So why does Chevening matter? You know, you might be sitting there and asking yourself, okay, so what is this scholarship about and why does it matter? So one, Chevening is an international British scholarship funded by Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, FCDO. And what that does, it gives you a global exposure. For most of my education, I did most of my education while I was in my country, Zambia. I had a little bit of exposure academically, but there was I lacked a lot of what we call global exposure or international exposure. And once I got the opportunity to travel and to come to the United Kingdom, you know, the UK is a center of education. It has great history in education. I learned a lot, met different people. I was exposed to well-developed and advanced people in my field, people with PhDs from top UK universities, people who have done serious research, and my perspective about my profession and the way I look at the world changed completely. And my thinking kind of changed because the way I was thinking while I was in my country and the way I started thinking when I was in the UK was different because I was surrounded by people who have been exposed to so much technological advancement. So that's what Chevening gives you. It also gives you an opportunity to meet people from different cultures. You learn different traditions, different languages, people coming from different countries. So you kind of have an open mind. So the other thing is strong network. So when you're exposed, what happens? You have strong network. So in life, you can have networks, but some networks are strong. So some networks are weak. You know, you being home in your country, Nigeria, probably are just connected maybe to your lecturer, a few friends, your friend who's doing, you know, a master's degree at a certain Nigerian university. It's still connection, but it's not very strong. But once you come to the United Kingdom, you have strong network. For example, you might network with maybe somebody doing a PhD at Oxford, or somebody doing a PhD at Manchester, in Manchester, or you might connect with a lecturer in your field, somebody who's exposed. Maybe they have also traveled from America, they have traveled from Australia, they are working in the UK. So you create this strong network. And what does that do when when your network is strong? Your career grows. You get exposed, you get your international qualification. So these are some of the things that Chevening exposes you to. So what are they looking for? So during your essays, you are going to write 4 essays. During my time, each essay consisted of 500 words. I now hear they have reduced to 300. So what are these essays? So these essays centered on 4 things. The first one is leadership. The second one is networking. Third one is career, clarity, and study in the UK. So these are some kind of a framework that Chevening uses to choose who they want to give the scholarship. So what do you put in your leadership? You basically talk about your leadership experience. You don't have to be a manager. You don't have to be the head of the geology department, but simple things that's being, you know, a WhatsApp, a WhatsApp leader, or somebody who's organizing a WhatsApp group to connect other people. As simple as being a church treasurer, or, you know, maybe doing some small activities within your church, or just trying to build yourself by attending multiple workshops. being present and active in your community. That's what Chevening is looking for in your leadership. Networking, Chevening also just want to know how, as a leader, one of the qualities you have to have is networking. So how are you networking with other leaders? How are you networking with your MPs in your area, your governor, your teachers, your lecturers, different people? Chevening wants to know how, and if you have a little bit of exposure, if you have traveled to Egypt, Dubai, UK, Australia, Chevening wants to know how did you utilize that opportunity to network, to expand, to share your ideas, and to meet other people. That's what Chevening is looking for. And career clarity, Chevening also wants to know, wow, when you come to the UK, what do you want to study? Why have you chosen this particular universities? Why have you chosen this particular course? That's what Chevening is looking for. They want to hear your reasoning behind why do you want to go to the University of Manchester? Why do you want to go to Bournemouth University? Why do you want to go to Leeds University? Why do you want to attend this university? What are you looking for? What attracted you to this university? What is it that you love about this place? And you might put simple reasons, as simple as, I'm a Manchester fan, so I'm going to have an opportunity to watch my team while I'm at the University of Manchester, or maybe I'm a supporter of Bournemouth team. So maybe when I go to Bournemouth, I'm going to be happy that I'm going to also network, and you might put such simple reasons. You might also know, because I'm trying to do maybe a master's in neuroimaging, and I want to go maybe to Glasgow, and there's a professor who is very experienced in neuroimaging, and I want to learn from that professor, things like that. And then now study in the UK. Chevening also wants to know why you want to go and study in the UK, and how you are going to with the knowledge you're going to get in the UK, how it's going to benefit your country back home. That's very, very important for Chevening. They want to know how the program you have chosen is going to be of benefit to your country or the people in your country. Okay, so I think this is just a summarized things of some of the things I've said. So leadership and influence. So what they want, evidence you are a leader or future leader, what to include in your essay, lead a team, influence people, solve their problem, key ideas, impact over position, networking, ability to build relationships and collaboration. I've explained this. What to include, work with others, build connections, maintain relationships, mutual values, and not just contacts, you have to demonstrate that the people are also benefiting something from you. It's just not the matter of, I have a governor's number, I met the governor at a conference. They want you to go deeper. What is the governor benefiting from you? Studying the UK, career reason for choosing the UK. I've explained about this. Why UK education? Why specific universities, courses linked to your goals? And be specific and intentional. Career plan, clear vision of your future, short-term goals, long-term goals, about 5 to 10 years, as well as your impact on your country. And that should be past, present, and the future. I think I've also talked about that. So in my experience, what I would have done different, obviously I had an experience, and this is something I want to share with you guys, because you don't have to go what I went through. So what are some of the things that I would have done different during my application? So the first one is stay authentic. Be real. Not just with Chevening, but in life you have to be authentic, because there can only be you. There's no another person on earth who's like you. So be original. Very, very important. Start early. You don't have to be like, oh, I don't have a degree yet. Oh, okay, maybe, I have to wait. Obviously Chevening has a number of years you have to work for you to apply, but just start, you might not be eligible yet, but start attending webinars like this one, listen to alumni, different types of alumni, and catch up with people on LinkedIn, read more about Chevening. That's what it means to start early. Be intentional, be intentional, very simple. Know what you want, very, very important. Seek mentorship, it's very, very important. Chevening is heavily dependent on mentorship. As you saw in my area slide, some of the mistakes I did not have a mentor. Very, very important to have a mentor. Look, go on LinkedIn, find somebody who has a scholarship, send them a message, tell them what you want. I need help here and here, and they'll be able to help you. And when sending a message, be specific. Don't send, hi, how are you? Write a message, tell them what you have done. I've looked at the website. I have done this and this. I have not understood this. I need help in this and this. Don't just send a message, hi, how are you? People are busy, nobody's going to respond to you. Build an impact profile. This is very important. On LinkedIn, if you send me a message, I'll also look you up. I want to see what you're doing. I will look at your page. I will look at what you post. And if I find that you are not active, there's nothing much you do, that's boring. I want to engage with somebody who's doing something. So build your profile, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, anything. Build it in a positive way that is going to impact other people. When they look at you, they say, okay, this is somebody who wants something. Be active, write articles, post something, look at something, just be active in a positive way, especially if you're academically oriented. Post about scholarship. I'm looking for this. I want to do this. It gives motivation to somebody who wants to help you. And the last thing is communicate well. I've said a lot of things here, but everything depends on communication. So if you don't communicate well, everything is just not going to make any sense. So work on your communication. You can take up free online communication skills. Building your LinkedIn profile is part of communication because you're communicating, even if you're not saying anything. But when people look, they'll know that this person is up to something, they're doing something, So communicate well. I've also mentioned about sending messages, be specific, go direct on point. It's very, very important. So recommendations in case they are students, these are just some of the recommendations that you can take, some of the things you can do to build your profile for in readiness for Chevening. So global career, start now. I've explained this. Remote work opportunities, take on remote work opportunities. You don't have to just work in Nigeria. The world is now, small because of internet. You can take up a remote work in America, UK, South Africa, Australia, to give you that international experience, because Chevening lives experience where you have already been exposed. Collaborate, attend conferences. I've talked about this. Online certificates. You can attend some online free courses. Global skills, communication, building LinkedIn profile. These are some things I've talked about. Degrees don't make you a global skill always. So you have to engage yourself in critical thinking, digital skills, adaptability, all those things. Wow, and my final message is opportunities are for prepared people. I cannot emphasize on this. Opportunities are for prepared people. Be prepared. When opportunity comes, it should find you already have done your work. And thank you very much. Do you guys have any questions? Hello?
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Fuson. I don't know if you have any question, you can unmute your mic and ask, and also you can drop your question on the chat box. So Mr. Fuson, I have a question. So I've done a little bit research on Chevening, and I've like gone through the extent of streamlining schools to apply for and all. And I've read a lot of testimonies on LinkedIn too, and I've seen that most of the African people that I've seen that gotten Chevening, especially in medical imaging, they always mention you in their testimony, right? Even the likes of I think Wisdom from Ghana. You also mentioned in your test. That means you've actually like seen a lot of applications. It's actually like helped a lot of people. My question now is, we're coming from diverse medical imaging backgrounds. I'm a radiographer in Nigeria. There are people here that are radiographers in other African countries. So different medical imaging background, different experience. But based on all the people that you've helped succeed, what is the one thing that you've seen that is common with all of their application? I know you've talked about authenticity, which is very, very important. Are there any other things or thing that you've seen that are unique to all these applicants? Because this is actually a very tough application.
Yeah, thank you for that question. Yeah, so I should mention that getting a scholarship is very hard, as I've already shown you in my statistics. But getting a Chevening scholarship as a medical imaging specialist or a medical imaging coming from the medical imaging field, it's as twice difficulty as compared to other people. For example, if a lawyer comes, they go for the interviews. Come on, everybody knows about a lawyer. So already, once they go for the interviews, everybody understands what they're about to talk about. If a doctor goes there, everybody knows who the doctor is. If so a teacher goes there, everybody knows who a teacher is. They don't have to work hard to describe who the teacher is. Now, picture this, you are a radiographer. Not so many people know about radiographers. So the first thing you have to make the panel understand who is a radiographer, what they do. That is already the first hardship you face. So it's quite very difficult to get a scholarship as a radiographer. In my country, Chevening was established around 1967, and I was the third radiographer to ever get a scholarship. And yet there have been a lot of engineers, lawyers, doctors who have gotten the scholarship. And in Ghana, I think Wisdom was the second, I think the first one to get a Chevening scholarship as somebody from medical imaging fraternity. So you see how quite challenging it is to get a scholarship as a Chevening. But coming to answer your question, what some of the things that stood out in these people who have mentored, actually, I mentored Wisdom and other people during the time they were writing their application and interview. So one of the things that stood out, number one, I cannot emphasize this, is uniqueness. It is very tempting to try to sound or be like somebody when you're applying for scholarship, because you have read so much essays and then you're like, okay, I need to copy this person, I need to copy this person. But you'll be so shocked how being authentic can really make you stand out as an individual. Have that unique story. You might have a story and you're thinking to yourself, wow, maybe how is this story going to sell? Maybe people might not buy it, or maybe Chevening, and then you are like, I think I'm going to get somebody's story, or maybe I want to be like somebody. I want to put in very big experience for me to get this scholarship. And you'll be so shocked that you'll be left out, So the number one thing is authentic. Don't put in things you have not done. Write down, no matter how simple something is, write it down, and be showcase how that experience, because Chevening is looking at impact. You as a leader, what impact did you make? It doesn't matter at managerial level, at community level, at household level. When I wrote my leadership essay, the first example I gave about the impact I did was, because I'm the firstborn in my family, I highlighted how being the firstborn made me a leader, and how I contributed to the development of my family, my brothers, my siblings, as a firstborn. Imagine, as simple as that. And Chevening was very happy with my answer. They were like, oh, this is good. You see, I was very, very authentic about being the firstborn, and how just in the absence of my parents, I assumed the parental duties, and how I kind of helped my siblings, developed them and helped them, So those are some of the things. So authenticity is number one. Then number two, we have a lot of problems in Africa, especially in medical imaging, in the geography. So you need to have a captivating story, a story that people can relate to. You can have your stories, but a story should be a story that everybody can relate to. In our profession, we have so many challenges, and you have to pick a challenge that people are going to relate to. For example, if you are working in MRI, you are working in CT. Obviously, if you have got two stories, let's say you want to talk about the technical aspect of MRI. For example, you want to talk about shortages of MRI and how that has impact on people. That's a good story. But if you imagine if you can talk of how somebody died because there was no availability of an MRI, that's a different story, and that's something people can relate to. You understand? So these are some of the things I noticed in some of these essays which I was reading. People were bringing stories that are very passionate, something people can relate to, something that people can relate to. And also, the other thing is how well read people were about the UK, and why they choose those programs they were choosing. For example, Bournemouth has a program called Medical Imaging Management. Imagine you telling the Chevening committee or the Chevening, or you're writing an essay. Imagine how many things you can say about a program that combines with management, because one of the things that we are lacking in medical imaging is leadership. And when there's no leadership, the profession won't grow. So imagine there's this program that is bridging the gap between medical imaging and leadership. So imagine how well you'll be able to sell your story compared to just a program named medical imaging, So when you have these compelling issues, well illustrated, well elaborated, and you kind of give reason why you have chosen that specific course, why you are going for that course. So these are some of the unique things that I saw and that I think most of you should kind of embrace and make use of. Yeah. I hope that has answered your question.
Yes, perfectly. Authenticity and originality. Thank you very much for that. So I don't know, do we still have any other question? You can unmute yourself, you can drop your question in the chat box. So while we're waiting, so I want to also ask Mr. Filson, so what is the steps like, right? Because we've had a Commonwealth Share Scholar session. I think that was last week, and the person was saying about applying to the school. Then if the school nominates you, then you apply for the scholarship. Is it the same thing with Chevening, or is there another pattern of application?
No. That's for Commonwealth. Chevening is
Okay.
very, very simple and straightforward. It does know those issues of nominations and what. With Chevening, you just go on the website. Everything is on the website. You write your essays, you submit, you start waiting. While you are waiting, you apply separate to your university for your conditional and conditional offers. So once the Chevening committee is happy with your essays, and once they accept your essays, you are invited for interviews. At that time, you should have an acceptance letter from a UK university. And once you pass your interviews, that's it. You go to the UK. So it's quite simple and straightforward. It's not complicated like Commonwealth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I have another question. So most of all the people that I've seen, either Chevening or Commonwealth State Scholar, I noticed one thing that almost all of them are coming from Bournemouth University, medical imaging with management, medical imaging. I'm now wondering. I mean, I've checked the schools that are eligible for Chevening application. There are other schools that offer medical imaging. There is Leeds University, there is Manchester. So is there a reason why not everybody, but most of the people I've seen, is there a reason why everybody's choosing Bournemouth University?
Wow. So when the time I applied to the UK, I had 3 unconditional offers. I had one from Leeds University. I had one from Surrey University and one from Bournemouth. So those are universities that gave me unconditional offers. But getting a scholarship is a different story. So as I mentioned, Chevening is looking at the reasons why you have chosen that university. Now, picture this. In my presentation, I mentioned that Chevening is a leadership kind of scholarship, isn't it? And now you
Yes,
have
it is.
you have a program literally named Medical Imaging and Management. So literally there is leadership in that program. So imagine how well your essays will be written to align Chevening goals with your university. You get the point. So the program kind of gives you an added advantage in terms of being selected for a scholarship. You know, so if you're writing that you have to go to Leeds, you might need to explain yourself more in terms of the reason why you want to. Yeah, obviously, there are other good reasons why you'd want to go there. But if there's another guy who's applied for medical imaging and they have applied at Bournemouth, they would rather, if they are not, if for example in your country, if two radiographers have applied or three, somebody who has applied to Bournemouth might have more points than somebody who have applied at Leeds, because Leeds just offers medical imaging. That's all. Well, we do have, we've mentored a few who are at Leeds, but they went there through Commonwealth. But Commonwealth is not a leadership program, so you can get there through nomination and stuff like that. But when it comes to making your point clear, if you come to making your point, you have to make sure that you are choosing a university that is going to give you more points. And that university, the program you're studying, should be relating to you, how that program will build you into a leader. You get the point? Into a leader. And the program at Bournemouth is offered from two schools, School of Health Sciences and School of Business, that offers management and leadership program. So mostly people, that's the issue. It's quite competitive. So anything that gives you an advantage, you want to put it first. I hope that answered the question.
Yes, it did. Please, do we still have questions? Do we have questions? You can unmute, you can drop your questions on the chat box.
Yes. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks for this wonderful presentation. So my own question is the speaker for the last section that we had about the Commonwealth. So according to what the speaker said that time, so Commonwealth is just like they have a fixed courses that people need to apply for. So for this Chevening now, is it like we can apply to any course of our choice, whether related to medical imaging or not even related to medical imaging, or somehow related to medical imaging, maybe like radiotherapy, nuclear medicine stuff. So is there any provision for that as well? Or they also have a fixed courses that the people must apply to?
Okay, thank you for that question. So this is what makes Chevening stand out. So Chevening does not limit to what course you want to study. So you can apply for any program. It doesn't even have to be medical imaging. You can apply for computer science. You can apply for microbiology. You can apply for international relationship. You can apply for climate. You can apply for anything. That's a good thing with Chevening. Any university in the UK that is affiliated to Chevening, you can apply, and about 90% of UK universities are affiliated to Chevening. So you can apply for public relation. What is this? You can apply for anything that you think is going to have an impact in your country. Remember, Chevening is looking for leaders of tomorrow.
Okay, sir. Thank you
You
so much,
must,
sir.
you must welcome.
Those who have questions. All right, I wanted to ask about so there's this work caveat, right? About work experience. You should have been able to work like 2 years, and I'm hearing, I don't know how true it is, that they've been able to modify it that, oh, your internship does not count as a post-school work experience. That apart from internship, you still have to like have worked for 2 years.
Yeah, in my time, internship and all those, they counted as part of experience. But now I hear things have changed. So now you need to have those solid years post graduation. So they're a bit strict now. So yeah, that's true. Actually, you need to have work experience in an actual working environment. Yeah.
All right, sir. That's all the questions I have in my end. Do we still have questions? Okay. Taking the silence to mean that there's no other question.
Wow. So if there's no
All
another,
right.
yeah. So if there's no other questions, you can share with them my LinkedIn post. Some people are just shy to ask questions, which is absolutely fine. So you can share them. So we share them. You can share my handles with them. And then if they have got questions, I'm available on LinkedIn. I'll try to attend to some of these questions as soon as possible. And if you have got any question, I can answer that question right there.
Okay, okay, sir. Okay, sir. Um, Thank you very much, Mr. Fielson, for an insightful presentation. And thank you very much for agreeing to come on ARSPN platform. I know it was a lot of back and forth because of your busy schedule, and you still made it. Yeah, still made it. We're not taking it for granted. Thank you very much. And also, so a general announcement. We still have, I think, two more sections in the scholarship track. So we have next week we're going to have someone from Calgary University of Calgary in Canada. Then we're going to have a second section in Commonwealth Shared Scholar, and we're done for the scholarship track. So the thing is, that phase two is done for the scholarship track. So in phase three, I think we've talked about first scholarship. We are going to talk about first scholarship at the end of this phase two section. So as we're talking about it, it's also the onus is now on us to streamline based on our strength and based on where we feel that, oh, we have more competitive advantage in. Because when we get to phase three, it will be the trial and application phase, right? And we also made the announcement of getting required documents ready, your transcript, passport, English proficiency. It was also announced that Aspire Institute is offering an academic grant for standardized exams like IELTS, GRE, and the rest of them. I think the academic the round one is closing by Monday, yeah, 12th of May. So you could leverage that and apply and get sorted out with your standardized exams too. So thank you very much for everyone that made it to this section. And once again to our speaker, Mr. Pearson, thank you so much for today. And as we also want to make a plea, I mean, when we get to phase three, we would like to do a kind of a laser focused mentorship whereby the people that are choosing, let's say we have 4 people that are choosing to apply for Chevening this year. So we have 2 mentors for Chevening, Wisdom and you. So is it possible that we match them? Okay, 2 people work closely with you. You help review their documents, their essays, um, pending to application opening. I think application opens within the last quarter of the year. Is it okay by you?
Yeah, that's fine. That's okay.
Okay, okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've had it. It's okay with him. Then I think the work will now be done by us. Thank you very much once again, Mr. Fusin, and thank you very much everyone that was able to join the call. Sir, so I will also be reaching out for your for the slides documents so I can share in the group.
Okay, I will send them. There's a guy who texted me on yeah, they texted